was early in the winter of '69 that I was drafted. Drafted, along with thousands of other young men of my generation. Boys we were, really. Forced to leave our homes and family and sent to a jungle hell on the other side of the world to fight a war that we didn't understand. Day after day, week after week, I watched helplessly as one after another of my friends and brothers were wounded and killed. Let me tell you, the ones who died were the lucky ones. I mean, they saw an end to the war. After the Tet Offensive, I woke up in a military hospital, surrounded by the whitewashed linens of the recovery ward, the moans of the dying, the stench of death. I knew where I was, but it didn't make any sense. I was fine. And then I realized I couldn't feel my legs. The mine had filled most of my body with shrapnel, and the wounds were grievous, but the legs, I'll never get over the legs. After what seemed like hell forever, I finally went home. Or at least what used to be home. At first I thought that everybody else had changed, but I realized that I was the one who had changed. It didn't matter if people were kind to me or not. I couldn't take it. I couldn't escape the war, and my legs, every time I looked down, I could see them taunting me, reminding me of everything that I had lost. I didn't want to admit at first that I was going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Everybody told me that I was fine the way that I was, that I should wear my disability like some kind of red badge of courage or something. I should be proud of what I have fought for. But I mean, what the hell did they know? They don't have to live with this. I do. Now it's 40 years later, and I look at these legs, and I feel the shame of the survivor. I feel the guilt of being alive like a white-hot knife in my side, in the weight of every breath that I take. But I go on.
It happened June 9th, Saturday night. I was walking home from work, and I was on the phone with my mom, and suddenly someone just grabbed me and shoved me into a dark alleyway, and I hit my head against the pavement. I must have hit it pretty hard because I passed out for a little bit, but then I could feel him on top of me and inside of me, and a cold, sharp blade at my throat. I was so afraid that even if I swallowed, I would cut my throat open. I could feel the pounding in my head and the pieces of gravel sticking in the backs of my legs. I started to cry because it hurt so badly, but he told me that he'd kill me if I didn't stop making so much sound. So I tried to think of anything else, just think of anything else. And all I could think of was my mother and her face. When they found my body, what would she say? What would she think? How would she feel? And I thought of the person who would find my body in this alleyway, because I knew I was going to die that night, and how they would remember that for the rest of their lives. I woke up the next night in my bed. I don't remember, but I must have walked the 3 blocks home, and my hair was still wet, so I guess I took a shower, and my mouth tasted like vomit. I didn't tell anybody. And then, last month, I missed my period. I'm pregnant. I think I want an abortion. I want this thing out of me, but people always say...
Wait. What gives you the right to take this child's life? You can't punish this baby for the cruelty of what this man did to you.
I did not choose to be raped or impregnated. Much like you didn't choose to go to war or have the use of your legs taken away from you. You said that every time you look at your legs, it reminds you of the horrors of the war. I don't want to look into the eyes of my child to see my attacker staring back at me. I don't want a daily reminder of that awful night. I'm sorry that you weren't given that same consideration, but shouldn't I get to choose what happens to my body?